Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here. Welcome back to the channel for a super quick update on Kadena. So the markets are breaking down today. Bitcoin and the altcoin market are getting hit relatively hard, but Kadena is down about 4.5 to 5% depending on what exchange you're looking at. So in this video, it's going to be a quick one. I really want to focus on what is changing, what are my thoughts that are developing in the lower time frames. If you are a veteran, you may have seen our most recent Kadena update 2 days ago. This was a 17-minute long video detailing the macro, midterm timeframes and lower timeframes. I don't want to run through all of the charts that we ran through 2 days ago because my thoughts in the macro have not changed. So I want to update what's happening in the lower time frames in a quick and compendious video. So let's dive into my thoughts, which have changed in the past 48 hours. Now, first of all, in terms of the macro, there's only really two things that have changed. Of course, quite recently we saw a rally up to 70 cent, which, as we know, if you are a veteran of the channel, this is the top of the volume profile that we are currently trading in. We got rejected from the top of the volume profile and we are starting to move to the downside. So at least from this volume profile perspective, it looks like we're coming back down to this same area of support, which we initially predicted that we would come down and bounce from. This is 50 cent. This is the next major cluster of volume profile support to the downside. So in the immediate short term, I think we are moving down to 50 cent. And of course, in our last video, we were detailing this chart, which kind of just highlights how we ebb and flow every single time we make a new bear market low for Kadena. What I want to update on this front, if we do come over to the daily time frame over on this chart, if we do look at the most recent breakdown that we have seen from 82 cent all the way down to the lows at 50 cent where we bounced on the volume profiles, what do you know? You can see we've reverted back into the long-term moving average on the daily EMA ribbons tick, and we have also beautifully hit the 618 Fibonacci in terms of the wicks and got rejected. Now, for the past 6 days, we have been range bound between the short-term moving average on the daily EMA ribbons, which are currently bearish, and the 0.5 Fibonacci. Although you can see we have had wicks up to the 618 Fib, we've been getting candle body close rejections underneath the 0.5 Fibonacci for 6 days now, and we are now moving back down to the bottom of the short-term moving average. So what I want to let you know is if Kadena loses 62 cent, this could be catastrophic in the short term, and we could start to break back down to the downside. And if we come over to the lower time frames, it will become even more apparent as to why. First of all, before we do look at the 4-hour time frame, let's come over to the daily. Now, in our previous video, we were detailing this divergence which was playing out. As you can see in the price action, we have been making highs, we've been making lower highs, and for the past 6 days, you can see the wicks have been making lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and today, once again, another lower high. So even though we've had this divergence playing out since the 23rd of May, approximately for the past 35 days, we've been forming this divergence. What you can see is this is getting even stronger since my last video. If we look at the price action, even since the last video, 48 hours ago we made a high, 24 hours ago we made a lower high, and today with this candle body, we've once again made a lower high. But this is when we made our most recent video on Kadena. I believe this was the 23rd of June. And as you can see, the oscillator has been pushing up higher and higher and higher. Even today, the MFI is pushing up higher while the price action is moving down. So we're really seeing this hidden bearish divergence get stronger and stronger and stronger. In our most recent video, we talked about 2 different scenarios. We were talking about how we're hoping for a breakout on Kadena, but I don't think that's going to happen. We wanted a breakout because we wanted to short from a position of strength and play the bearish scenario, and then we wanted to see the price break back down to the downside, in which we were going to start DCAing. So we were looking to play both sides of the markets from a unbiased perspective, approaching the markets completely robotically, trying to make money as bulls, trying to make money as bears. But we talked about, because of the fact that this divergence was playing out, and also the oscillators, which we'll discuss in just one second, because of these reasons, it wasn't looking like we were going to get a breakout, and this is looking stronger and stronger by the moment. The MFI is becoming more overextended, the divergence, the bearish divergence, should I say, hidden bearish divergence, is getting stronger and stronger, and as you can see, the stochastic RSI is looking like it wants to turn down to the downside. On the daily time frame, we have had a cross to the downside. We haven't really had a decisive move back down, but this is when I think we could get the decisive move. Once again, like we discussed in our previous charts, if we do close a daily candle beneath 62 cent, I think that's going to be the confirmed breakdown that we need to see on the daily time frame and 4-hour time frame that will be letting us know that we're going to move down to, once again, the 50 cent macro price target. We of course are expecting throughout the bear market that we are going to move down to the next volume profile at 32 cent. We actually detailed in the previous video, if you look at the title, even though the title seems a little bit bullish, we were actually bearish in the lower time frames. The title, Kadena I'm buying, we of course talked about brackets at this level, meaning we're not buying right now, we're waiting for 30 cent. This is where we're going to start DCAing and laddering into Kadena. This has been a thought of mine for, well, since I started covering this about a year ago. We've been waiting for the optimal time to start DCAing into Kadena, and like I said in the previous video, this is where I think is the optimal time to buy. So here's what's happening in the lower time frames, and here's why I think 50 cent is incoming very quickly, and then here is why I think we're coming down to the next volume profile at 30 cent. Well, if we come over to the 4-hour time frame, you can see we've been developing something reminiscent of a bullish pennant. Now, you can draw this a few different ways. Initially, I was kind of looking at the way that it was drawn over here. This is the first time I've shown it on the channel though, so this is really something I've been looking at in the past 24 to 48 hours, developing on my trading view before I came out today and presented this video review. This is how I initially had it drawn on this bounce, and as you can see, we had a bounce, we flipped it as resistance and retested and confirmed it as resistance. But I wanted to be a little bit more conservative. When I woke up this morning, I saw that we were grinding against this new trend line for about 14 hours or so, and this is really the last line of support for Kadena in my opinion. You can see we've had a bearish engulfing candle underneath this bullish pennant, and it looks like we are breaking down to the downside. Now, someone originally commented, and this was something that I did see as well, but I didn't decide to discuss because it didn't look like it was going to play out to me. This did have the possibility of being a inverse head and shoulders. You can see a shoulder here, you can see a head here, and you can see a potential shoulder here, but it now looks like we're coming and we're going to exceed the head. Once again, what price targets does this inverse head and shoulder become invalidated at? It becomes invalidated at 61.5 cents. So while this is once again not quite 62 cent, we're seeing quite a lot of convergence round about the 62 cent trend line. And if you're a retail trader, which I'm really not a big fan of, I'm really not a big fan of trend lines. This is just something else that I've got my eyes on. If you're looking at the horizontal support down here, you can see if we do break beneath the retail trend line at 62 cent, once again, that's another reason why we could break down to the downside. If we do lose 62 cent, there's a lot of confluence around this region, which could be letting me know that we will be getting ready for that next move to the downside. You pair this with the analysis we've looked at, bearish divergence, and also if we move down to 62 cent, we may see an increase in the MFI, and then we may see that drop in the stochastic RSI, letting us know that that next major move is coming back down. If we do look at the stock and look at the last few times that it has exceeded this 80 line, it is not always good. You can clearly see almost every single time the stochastic RSI comes up to this 100 line, or between 80 to 100. The last time was over here. We had a plethora of tops over here, but pretty much what I'm highlighting is every time the stock gets topped out, you can see highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. This is why in the previous video we were kind of letting you know that we don't think that we're going to get scenario A, where we're going to have a bounce to the upside and get to short from a position of strength. So I'm not going to be chasing this trade down. While I do think that we are breaking down at this moment in time, you do know that if you do watch the channel, I'm a very conservative trader. I like to enter from the best positions of strength, and I don't think right now that we are in a position of strength. Even though I'm bearish, I won't be shorting this. I do just want to let you know, I think Kadena is getting ready to break down, and there are a lot of reasons why if we do start losing 62 cent, and once again, 4-hour time frame. Look at this, the long-term moving average on the 4-hour EMA ribbons, which is coming into confluence with the short-term moving average on the daily EMA ribbons, is 62 cent once again. There's so much confluence around 62 cent. If we do lose 62 cent, this is what I think is going to happen. Now, first of all, you can argue this is an asymmetrical triangle. If this doesn't play out as a bullish pennant, which it doesn't look like it is, then the immediate short-term price target of this asymmetrical triangle breakdown should be round about 55 cent. But here is what I actually see developing. On the 4-hour time frame, you can see a very clear rise to the upside. You can see a spiky top consolidation. And if we do start catapulting beneath 62 cent, this could be a bark pattern with a price target. The neckline is a little bit ambiguous. The neckline could be argued to be between 52 and 50 cent. Not a huge difference between these price targets down here, so it doesn't really matter. But in my opinion, in the immediate short term, I think Kadena is setting up for a brutal drop. I do believe this is about to drop between 17 to 20% before finding a short-term level of resistance. And after we do come back down here, after we do drop all the way back down to this volume profile support, which we previously held, I think the longer and longer we keep knocking on the door at 50 cent, the more likely we are to break this level and head down to the next volume profile cluster support at 33 to 30 cent. Once again, remember, I've got buy orders set at 33 cent, I've got buy orders set at 30 cent, and we're also targeting this POC point of control down here at 23 cent. Now, don't be too surprised if we don't hit 23 cents straight away. This could actually take a very long time to come and hit, and here's why. If we look at the volume profiles, bear in mind this wick didn't actually happen. On Bittrex, there are some very weird knee-jerk reactions, volatility, lack of liquidity, knee-jerk reactions, like I said, that we do have on these charts. So these wicks up here to 97 cent didn't happen. These wicks down here to 31 cent didn't happen. But regardless, you do see these volume profiles tending to act as a strong level of support. So what I personally think is going to happen is I think we're going to come down and we're going to hit some of my price targets down at 33 to 30 cent. I don't necessarily think that we're just going to rush down to 23 cent. I think it's more likely we're going to come down, hit 33 to 30 cent, hit some of my buy orders, and then potentially we could see a reversal at that moment in time. We could bounce back up to 50 cent. It really depends on the oscillators, it depends on divergences, it depends on the general strength in the market. I'll have to let you know closer to the time what I think about is a bounce coming, etc. But now you know, in the lower time frames, I think we're getting ready for a breakdown. If we do close a daily candle beneath 62 cent, I think continuation is coming, at which point 50 cent is my price target in the immediate short term. Of course, we do also have this price target here of the asymmetrical triangle. So level by level, I'm targeting 55 cent, then down to 52 cent, then 50 cent. But then when I really start buying is between 33 to 30 cent. And if we do break back down lower, 23 cent is what I've got my eyes on. So for today, my friends, that's all I've got. I am, of course, short-term bearish on Kadena. I do think we are getting ready to break back down for that final leg to the downside. But do bear in mind, Kadena is something I am extremely bullish on in the next cycle. If I wasn't extremely bullish on it, then I wouldn't be buying down here at 30 cent. I do believe my DCAs down at 30 cent are going to make insane profit in the next cycle. I do believe Kadena could see round about $50 if we do continue to get adoption. Right now, bear in mind we're in a bear market, so maybe it's not too fair for me to say this, but there's really not a lot of adoption. There's not a lot of network activity happening. The NFT ecosystem on Kadena, I like this project, but the NFT ecosystem is garbage. We really need to see more adoption in Kadena for me to start seeing these $50 price targets. But regardless, I do think it's a possibility. I think right now, of course, we're in a bear market, so maybe it's not 100% fair for me to say there's no network adoption, no one's buying NFTs, because, regardless of what NFT ecosystem, regardless of what ecosystem, blockchain technology you're looking at, a lot of them are suffering from lack of adoption right now, and that is to be expected in a bear market. But coming into the bull market, I do think Kadena can turn this around. I do think it can start, turning some of these weaknesses into strength. After all, Kadena is extremely scalable and low in terms of fees. It's kind of like the green proof of work stepbrother of Solana, which is a proof of stake system. But I do think, once again, I'm going off on a tangent. This video is probably going to last longer than I wanted to because of this rant. But nonetheless, just wanted to let you know, I'm buying at 30 cent. I think Kadena can have some serious adoption into the next cycle. We'll have to take things one price target at a time. See you at 50 cent, then see you at 30 cent. For today, my friends, that's all I've got. If you do enjoy my content, be sure to let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment, share the videos with your friends. If you want to further support the channel, feel free to click the join button down below on YouTube and become a member today. Follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy. It's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I'm out, my friends. Peace.